Why every entrepreneur should own real estate before the age of 30. If you have a job or a career, you should make it your priority to own real estate before the age of 30. And just from an energy, physical standpoint, you're not going to have the same physical capabilities in the same way you had when you were younger. So you have to make it your priority, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I do believe that you should try your best to own real estate before the age of 30 and 40. And here's why. What are some of the benefits? The benefits are quite often you end up having a lot of write-offs where you don't pay a lot of taxes. So when you hear people say that I don't pay taxes, all they're saying is that they write a lot of things off, which allows them to reduce their tax burden, meaning they're essentially not giving money back to the government. And a lot of people don't understand that concept. It's not that they're cheating the system, it's where the tax codes are set up so people can take advantage of it. And one of the best tools you can use, especially if you're an entrepreneur, is real estate. For example, if you're working a 9 to 5, a W-2 job, you're almost very highly not to pay any taxes in a sense of having your taxes reduced. And this applies for investment properties, not your primary property where you live. I'm talking about investment properties where the landlord, where you are the landlord. You're the landlord and you can take advantage of certain write-offs. Let's just talk about it. For example, you can take write-offs such as repairs, rehab, if you got to replace a toilet, plumbing lines, you need to repair a roof, and you shouldn't look at it as it's a bad thing in a sense of I'm spending money. I don't have that money. It's actually a good thing when you put money into your properties. For one, the asset value of it is increasing. And for two, at the end of the year, you can take those write-offs. You can write it off, whereas you reduce your tax burden, which essentially you're not paying taxes. And people don't really understand the concept. And this only applies to investment properties. You should make it your priority to invest in real estate. Don't get stuck being comfortable. There's tons of benefits out there. You don't need a ton of properties. All you need is one. I think that everyone's first property should be an investment property. And what I mean by that is an investment property where, I'm going to say it again, you're not living in it. You're basically renting it out. Or if it happens to be a multi-family, you're living in one unit and you're renting out the other unit. That can work as well. But the thing about that is a lot of people get caught up in trying to find multi units. Number one, especially in 2025, the prices are very high when it comes to multi unit, depending on what market you're in. So you don't want to spend seven, eight, 900,000, even close to a million just to say I own a multi-unit and I'm trying to take the tax advantage benefits from it. Because then you're relying on the tenant. You don't want to be in a situation where you need the tenants to pay your rent. I tell people you do not want to be in a situation where you have to have that unit occupied in order to cover your mortgage. You don't want to have that. So while a lot of people were looking for multi-unit at the time, I couldn't find any multi-unit, but the single families were there for the taking. And if the prices are good, I don't care whether it's a multi-family or a single family or a triplex or a duplex. As long as the price is good, I advise you to purchase the property. And that's what you have to understand. It shouldn't be about, I want 2 units. I'm gonna have one where it's gonna pay off my mortgage. It doesn't always work out like that because you really don't. The numbers have to be right, and if the numbers doesn't make sense, then you're gonna dig yourself into a deeper hole. So I try to tell people, listen, focus on what you can afford, what you can afford. And if you could only afford a single family investment property, then go ahead and do it. And do it in a way where if the tenants don't pay, it's not going to stop you from paying a mortgage. Everything won't crumble to the ground, meaning you won't lose your property. You won't have to sell it. You won't end up in foreclosure. As long as you purchase right. And the best time to do it is, I would say, between the ages of, you could do it in your 20s, but 30, 40, that's ideal. That's when a lot of people start to hit their peak. They're set in their careers. And if not, listen, there are markets out there where you can invest in. There are a lot of markets out there. And, some of the markets I invest in are like C neighborhoods where, the homes are medium prices. You're talking about under 150,000, under 200,000. You don't have to go to the top neighborhood. We call them the A class neighborhood in a sense of where prices are 600,000, and you're thinking in your head that if I pay this amount, I'm getting a good property. That's not always the case because you do have quite often some of these contractors, some of these investors, they cut corners and they don't do everything right. So you move in, even builders. I'm pretty sure you guys watch HGTV and you see people that are repairing new homes, and you're like, wow, they just purchased this property, what, 2 years ago, brand new construction, and things aren't done right. And then they have to get these other contractors to come in and make repairs. So just because you think the house is brand new, new construction, doesn't mean the bones are strong. Me personally, I prefer the older homes. And the only reason why is because the structure, the structure is a lot stronger. Like they're using true 2x4s. So that's all I'm gonna give y'all for today. Try to make it your priority to purchase a property, mainly investment property, where you're not living in it, so you can take advantage of all the tax benefits. Um, Especially if you have a job, you can combine it with your W-2, and you can use a Schedule C. Make sure you talk to your accountant, your tax advisor, and there are a lot of benefits that you can get from owning a rental property. All right, make sure you guys subscribe, follow, and I'm gonna continue to give you a lot of information. See you next time.